How Islam started. One of the most commonly asked questions about the history of Islam is, when did Islam start? Islam, which means surrender or submission, began in the Arabian Peninsula in the early 7th century CE and has since grown to become one of the largest religions in the world. Here is the story of how Islam started. Before the advent of Islam, the Arabian Peninsula was characterized by tribal societies with a mix of polytheistic, Jewish, and Christian beliefs. Mecca, one of the region's most prominent cities, was a major center for trade and religion. The Kaaba, located in Mecca, was a revered sanctuary housing idols of various deities worshipped by the tribes. The society was largely tribal, and its values were influenced by loyalty to clans, poetry, and honor. However, the region also faced widespread moral decay, including infanticide, idol worship, and economic inequality. Despite these challenges, there were also individuals who sought a higher spiritual truth beyond the polytheistic practices of their time. Among these individuals was Muhammad ibn Abdullah, a man who would forever change the course of history. Prophet Muhammad was born in 570 CE in Mecca to the Hashim clan, part of the Quraysh tribe. His father, Abdullah, died before his birth, and his mother, Amina, passed away when he was 6 years old. Orphaned at a young age, Muhammad was raised first by his grandfather, Abdul Muttalib, and later by his uncle, Abu Talib. Despite these hardships, he grew up to be known for his honesty and integrity, earning the title Al-Amin, the trustworthy. As a young man, Muhammad worked as a merchant and was renowned for his fairness and truthfulness in business dealings. At the age of 25, he married Khadija bint Khuwaylid, a wealthy and respected widow who recognized his noble character. Their marriage was a source of love and support, and they had several children together. By the age of 40, Muhammad had developed a habit of retreating to the cave of Hira on Mount Hira, near Mecca. He would spend days meditating and seeking spiritual clarity, disturbed by the idol worship and moral corruption prevalent in his society. In the year 610 CE, during one of these retreats, he experienced a profound event that marked the beginning of Islam. The angel Jibril appeared to him and commanded him to read. Muhammad replied, "I cannot read." The angel repeated the command and revealed the first verses of what would later become the Quran. "Read in the name of your Lord, who created man from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he knew not." Quran 96:1-5. Overwhelmed and shaken, Muhammad returned home and confided in his wife Khadija. She comforted him and took him to her cousin Waraka ibn Nawfal, a Christian scholar. Waraka confirmed that Muhammad had been chosen as a prophet, just like the prophets of old, and that the angel who appeared to him was the same angel who had visited Moses. This event, known as the First Revelation, marked the beginning of Muhammad's mission as a prophet. Initially, Prophet Muhammad shared the message of Islam privately. His first followers included his wife Khadija, his cousin Ali ibn Abi Talib, his close friend Abu Bakr, and his adopted son Zayd ibn Haritha. Over time, he began preaching publicly, calling people to worship one God, Allah, abandon idolatry, and live righteous lives. The core message of Islam emphasized monotheism, social justice, compassion, and accountability in the hereafter. However, this message was met with hostility from the Quraysh leaders, who saw it as a threat to their authority and the economic benefits they derived from idol worship at the Kaaba. As the number of Muslims grew, so did the opposition. The Quraysh subjected Muhammad and his followers to ridicule, economic boycotts, and physical abuse. Despite these challenges, the early Muslims remained steadfast. In 619 CE, Muhammad faced personal tragedy with the loss of his beloved wife, Khadija, and his uncle Abu Talib. This year became known as the Year of Sorrow, as the Prophet lost two of his greatest supporters and became increasingly vulnerable to persecution. In 622 CE, Prophet Muhammad and his followers were invited to the city of Yathrib, later renamed Medina. The leaders of Yathrib sought his guidance to mediate disputes between warring tribes. In return, the Muslims were promised freedom to practice their faith. This migration, known as the Hijrah, marked a turning point in Islamic history. It also signified the beginning of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Muhammad established the first Islamic state, founded on principles of justice, equality, and religious tolerance. The Constitution of Medina outlined the rights and responsibilities of all citizens, including Muslims, Jews, and others. Over the next several years, Islam continued to grow, and the Muslim community in Medina gained strength. In 628 CE, Muhammad and the Quraysh negotiated the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, which allowed for peaceful coexistence and the eventual pilgrimage of Muslims to Mecca. In 630 CE, after the Quraysh violated the treaty, Muhammad led a peaceful conquest of Mecca. Upon entering the city, he forgave his former enemies and cleansed the Kaaba of idols, restoring it as a place of monotheistic worship. In 632 CE, Prophet Muhammad performed his farewell pilgrimage and delivered a powerful sermon emphasizing equality, justice, and adherence to the Quran and his teachings, Sunnah. Shortly after, he fell ill and passed away at the age of 63. He was buried in Medina in the chamber of his wife Aisha. The religion of Islam is built upon 5 core practices, known as the 5 pillars, Shahada, declaring faith in Allah and Muhammad as his messenger, Salah, performing the 5 daily prayers, Zakat, giving a portion of one's wealth to those in need, Sawm, fasting during the month of Ramadan, Hajj, undertaking the pilgrimage to Mecca at least once in a lifetime if able. Since its inception, Islam has grown rapidly, spreading across the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. Today, it is the second largest religion in the world, with followers in every corner of the globe. Despite cultural and sectarian differences, Muslims remain united in their belief in the oneness of Allah and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. Overall, Islam's origins, rooted in the life and mission of Prophet Muhammad, continue to inspire millions of people worldwide with its message of peace, compassion, and submission to the will of Allah. Thanks for watching. To see more videos like this, kindly like, share, follow, or subscribe.